Your fellow fans, wait until stoppage of play until returning to or leaving your seats. Remember that good hockey fans are spirited and enthusiastic. Will not be tolerated and will be grounds for arena by someone much larger and stronger than you. Stand out there if you'd like to smoke or vape. Also, when you're inside the arena, please be aware that the use of red laser lights, mural art, megaphones are banned at all arena events. Any fan caught shining a laser light or blowing an air horn or megaphone will be ejected. However, you can't blow a vuvuzela in here. Also, any fan throwing an item other than a hat in the event of a hat trick or a jump block in the second intermission will be escorted from the building, again by someone who's much larger and stronger than you. The use of flash photography behind the goals is as is.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the Macon Centreplex, where your Macon Mayhem gets set to host the Fayetteville Marksmen for the final time this season. This will be matchup number 8 between the Mayhem and Jesse Kalecki's squad. The Fayetteville Marksmen, a team that has much improved from last season, a team that the Mayhem are still searching for their first victory against this season. My name is Alex Von Koidel. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on the Mayhem Broadcast Network on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor Streaming, and on YouTube. We're so glad you decided to join us for some Friday night hockey, whether you're a fan of the Mayhem or the Fayetteville Marksmen. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Well, the Mayhem coming out of a 5-game road stretch in which they took 3 games out of those 5. They took all 4 points available to them down in Pensacola last weekend and prefaced this weekend with a 4-3 loss at the hands of the Fayetteville Marksmen last night. So, yesterday morning, as a matter of fact, it was a 10 a.m. puck drop. So, challenge in and of itself playing a 10 a.m. game, let alone against a very formidable Fayetteville squad. In Fayetteville, a building the Mayhem have not had the best of luck in this season. But yesterday they played what Ryan Michael, the Mayhem head coach, described as the team's best effort in that building this season. You'll hear from the Mayhem head coach in the pregame interview in just a moment. But first, let's break down that road trip in a little greater detail. We talked about road games being a struggle for the Mayhem this season. They had a very front-loaded home schedule, and Ryan Michael knew that his team needed to turn things around during that 5-game stretch away from the Macon Centreplex. And though they fell yesterday morning by a narrow margin in Fayetteville, the Mayhem still managed to win 3 of their 5 road games. And the Marksmen were actually the only team in that span who managed to defeat the Mayhem at all. They defeated Pensacola twice and defeated Roanoke, which would end up being their first regulation road win of the season a couple of weeks ago. Fayetteville has triumphed in all 7 head-to-head matchups against Macon this season, and before the 2019-20 campaign began, oddly enough, the Marksmen had dropped 10 straight games here, dating all the way back to February of 2017. It's been a different story this season. They remain just one of 2 teams the Mayhem have not defeated on home ice this season, the only other being Peoria. And tonight will be Macon's last chance to defend its home ice against this Marksman team. They will not be back here for the rest of the regular season. Jesse Kalecki and company have had remarkable success against Macon, in large part due to their top players. Max Cook, their captain, and the SPHL's leading goal scorer, Brian Bowen, have both registered 12 points, an even goal to assist spread as well. 7 goals, 5 assists for both of them in games played against Macon, just 7 apiece, which is very impressive. And even with the third component of that line, Alec Marsh being called up to the ECHL South Carolina Stingrays earlier this week, it really hasn't seemed to matter Yesterday, Taylor McCloy filled that role for the bulk of the game. He filled in quite nicely. He scored two goals for Fayetteville, including the game winner. So finding a way to shut those three down, whoever is with Bowen and Cook, that line, shutting them down is going to be essential for the Mayhem in their hopes to win tonight. And right now, folks, it's been a struggle against that line in particular, but just against Fayetteville in general, the Mayhem still searching for their first win, hoping they can do that tonight in a building in which they've had a lot more success than they have on the road this season. A couple of players debuting this evening for the Mayhem, Cooper Jones and Eric Ilatalo. Jones a defenseman, Ilatalo a forward. They will both be playing their first game with the Mayhem. It was thought that perhaps they'd be able to suit up yesterday morning in Fayetteville, but because of the 10 a.m. start, that was not possible. So tonight will be the debut for both of them. Jones has been a very productive player from the blue line this season, scoring 16 points in 38 games played, which leads all Mayhem defensemen. And Ilatalo possesses a very imposing 6'3", 195-pound frame, and a dozen of ECHL games under his belt. So Coach Michael very confident in their abilities to help the team down the stretch as it fights for a playoff berth. He is assured that they will both have plenty of opportunities to showcase their abilities on home ice this weekend. You'll hear from him. I asked him something similar during our pregame interview. The Mayhem head coach, Ryan Michael, will be the next voice you hear on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We'll be back in just a moment, folks. Please enjoy this interview with the Mayhem head coach until we return.
Broadcast Network. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor Streaming and on YouTube. I had the pleasure of being joined by the head coach of the Macon Mayhem, Ryan Michael. It's been a while, Coach. Thanks for being here. First question I have for you is, with what happened last night, you guys are coming off a really tough 10 a.m. start in Fayetteville, which is a challenge in and of itself. Tough result. You guys didn't get a point, even though I thought personally you probably played the best game in that building this season. What were some of your takeaways from morning's game?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a weird day. First 10 a.m. game we've had this year, and I think I had one as a player, so it's always a little different, in terms of kind of your preparation and whatnot. I thought we started a little sluggish in the first, and to have it tied going into the intermission after the first period, I thought we were a little lucky, and then, second and third certainly better. Periods of time where we didn't play so well, but kind of, we're bending and not breaking, and then some really good stretches, and then, going into the third with the lead, it was just two mental mistakes, and against a team like that, sometimes that's kind of all it takes. So get a lot of positives, out of it, and, certainly, like you said.
Disgusting. It is Making Mistakes night. Time for Monster Jam, Monster Bites. I've got Colton. I've got Alex here.
7:24 to go here in period one. It looks like we're just about to get the YouTube stream back and running, fortunately. We appreciate, for those of you who had switched over to this one, we appreciate your patience as we got that resolved, but it looks like it is back up and going. So thanks for sticking with us. We apologize for the disruption. Just a byproduct of making mistakes night, we'll say. For those of you just now joining us on YouTube, we're still scoreless. 7:24 to go in period one. The shots on goal are being adjusted right now by our off-ice officials, and it's showing as 11-3 in favor of Macon. They have certainly had the edge in scoring chances, both in volume and in quality. And Brody Clays has had a very strong start to this game. In case you missed this as well, there was just a fight between Dylan Denemy and Nigel Slade moments ago. Denemy having to answer for a huge neutral zone open ice hit he threw against Tim Keelick. And Denemy probably got the better of Slade in that little scrap as well. Ilatalo managed to take his man down despite having the puck at the same time. It was Martin. He's gotten back onto his skates. Victor fighting for it now in the near corner with help from Ilatalo. It's a 3-on-2 scrum favoring Fayetteville. Ilatalo and Sokol fighting for it for Macon. In Fayetteville, it is Martin, Lesage, and Victor all scrapping away. Finally, they move the puck, but Lesage has it. And he will advance it up the left wing side. The Marksmen are out to center and beyond that. Good lead pass from Bowen to Spring Cook. The return is to Bowen, not in his wheelhouse. He had no choice but to kick it on goal. However, he recovers it behind the Macon net, tries to center it, and we've got a whistle. Looks as though there will be a slashing penalty called against Macon. The Mayhem 0 for 1 on their power play tonight. On the penalty kill, they've not had an opportunity. This will be their first. Fayetteville scoring on its only man advantage last night. Stephen Pirog to the Macon penalty box. And this Mayhem penalty kill will be brought to you by J&J's Heating and Air Conditioning. Pirog will join Dylan Denemy in the sin bin now. So Macon missing a couple of key penalty killers here with Denemy and Pirog in the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box. But Josh Kuzno with a clean defensive zone face-off win. The Mayhem unable to clear it past the right point, manned by Taylor McCloy. He will skate down the right wing into the circle and fire, and a chest save is made by Stiliadis, but he didn't secure the rebound as it's loose in the far corner now. Tim Keelik playing it away from Oscar Arfelt. Behind the net, it's rolled from Drake Glover to Keelik in the far corner. Tim Keelik harassed by Arfelt and Kuzno. Right now a 5 or 6 man scrap ensues. D'Oliveira's got his man pinned to the boards. Inside of 6 minutes to go here in the first period, still no score. Left point, Jarrett Cupp in the deep slot. Will slide it to his right. Taylor McCloy's got it inside of the right circle. His shot, stick save, and another save made by Stiliadis with his right pad to kick it out to the far half wall. Good athleticism shown by the Macon netminder. Still they battle for it in the far half wall. Keelik's got help from Drake Glover. Arfelt, D'Oliveira in the mix as well. Finally they jam it free. Back to Cupp at the line. Jarrett Cupp to Taylor McCloy, nearly a carbon copy of what just happened moments ago, but McCloy's shot this time missed the short side post and rattled its way back out to the in front of the Fayetteville bench. The Marksmen back in control with 45 seconds remaining on their power play. 5:10 to go in period one. We're scoreless here at the Macon Centreplex. To those of you just now joining us on the YouTube stream, we apologize for the disruption. It should not happen again for the rest of this game. Max Cook entered the zone, passed it to his left. Nobody was there. David Pawlowski down the right side will just dump it in behind the Fayetteville goal line. Brody Clays will leave it, and the Marksmen are out past their own blue line with it. From Jake to Cook to Bowen on the left side. Makes a nice move to get around a check, cuts into the middle with it and fires. Save. Stiliadis whacked by a stick, and he's complaining. He had to take his helmet off, and finally the whistle has blown. And Jesse Kolecki, I don't imagine, is too happy on the Fayetteville bench. Michael Stiliadis deliberately took his helmet off, but to be fair to him, he was slashed. Max Cook having a conversation with him now.
Fans, it's time now to recognize our Blues painting and home repair hero of the
Brian Bowen cut into the slot. We're going to head to our final media timeout here, folks, but just to reiterate what happened there, Brian Bowen cut into the slot with the puck on his stick. He fired, and Michael Stiliadis made the save, and he couldn't quite secure the rebound. It was sort of floating up in the air, and one of the Marksmen players standing in front of him tried to just whack the puck out of midair. He wasn't trying to hit Michael Stiliadis. He was trying to just sort of score a lacrosse-style goal, but he missed the puck and sort of whacked. It looked like Michael Stiliadis probably across the neck protector, and maybe it dislodged his helmet, and he didn't feel safe, so he just took it off to get Zane Stout's attention and to blow the play dead. Zane Stout, understanding where Stiliadis was coming from, decided not to penalize him. Play continues here. The Mayhem failed to get it out of their zone. Latello whiffed on the clearing attempt, and now Jarrett Cupp down the left side, centering it out in front. Brian Bowen couldn't handle it, and now it's Sokol down the left wing. The Mayhem have returned to full strength. They have improved to 1-for-1 on the PK tonight. Brody Clays has to make an awkward-looking save on an unexpected shot coming from Sokol in the deep slot. The Marksman back on it. Gustafson up to Bowen. Touch pass to find Martin. And it's just been dumped in by Max Cook in behind the Macon net. Michael Stiliadis to Cooper Jones making his Mayhem debut this evening. Former Knoxville Ice Bear and Evansville Thunderbolt. Spent time with both teams this season. His pass out to center misses Keplinger, goes all the way down. Jarrett Cupp wins the foot race, and his former teammate Josh Keplinger hits him into the end wall. Keplinger's got it now behind the net. Tried to center for Kuzno. He was tripped up in the middle. Zach Urban, right point long shot blocked. And it'll be Nigel Slade who takes over. I beg your pardon, Cannon Pieper for Fayetteville. Pieper To his left, Tim Keelick goes wide on Urban, carries behind the net, and the puck flutters its way to the near corner following that centering attempt. Nicholas Sage at the blue line, long shot through traffic, blocked by Kuzno. The puck's gone out of play. That flying puck has been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. 3:19 to go in period number 1. Still scoreless at the Macon Centreplex. Thanks so much for joining us, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Shots on goal for the moment showing 11-6 in favor of Macon. Yesterday, the Mayhem got off to a very slow start and clawed their way back after falling behind 1-0. A late equalizer in period 1. Took the lead in period 2. They had 2 late goals, one in period 1, one in period 2. And heading into the third, they were up 3-2, but the Marksmen came away with a pair of unanswered to secure the regulation victory. Oscar Arfelt with a toe drag lost the puck to Brian Bowen. And with all the snow on the ice, the puck took an unexpected halt. The Mayhem trying to take advantage of that. Wolter down the right side. He spins, loses his footing, and Fayetteville is all over it. Josh Victor's got it now. He's being stick lifted by Wolter. Victor gets some help from Bednard. It rolls over to the far half wall and trickles up to the right point. It was fanned down by Arfelt, and here come the Marksmen. Bednard trying to get it with speed. Couldn't do it, but he turns it into the Macon zone. Bowen gives it across to Bednard, who's in tight. He pulled the trigger. It was blocked by a Macon stick. Arfelt rolls it up the right boards, and Colton Wolter will just slither his way into the Fayetteville zone and dump it into the left corner to buy some time for his teammates to change. Wolter, the only player remaining out there from his line, throws a hit into the corner. Did a nice job directing traffic. He bought his team plenty of time, and the Mayhem are now set up in the offensive zone. However, the puck is still up for grabs as 4 players scrap for it. The Marksmen come away with it. Bobby Sokol down on his knees, just now getting back up to his skates after that puck scrap. This is going to be an icing called against Fayetteville. They were short of the red line when the puck was redirected near the player benches and crossed the goal line unimpeded, so icing is the call. That icing call has been brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. And Dylan Denemy right now standing in the Macon penalty box. Nigel Slade standing in the Fayetteville penalty box. Their 5 minutes have expired. They've served their penance and should be allowed back on the ice now. And Terry Reynolds, our off-ice official, has opened the door to try to get the attention of Zane Stout. Denemy and Slade looks like are being let out of the penalty boxes after that fight that took place earlier in this game. Denemy being forced to answer for the hit he threw on Tim Keelick. Big open ice hit, which led Nigel Slade to stand up for his teammate and drop the gloves. Pirog will take this offensive zone face-off, countered by Max Cook. The Mayhem win it. Cooper Jones puts it behind the net. Pirog's got it. He's got it on his backhand as he works it up the far boards, turns it towards Arfelt. It was intercepted. Here come the Marksmen on a 2-on-2. Cook is defended by Pirog, who's not a defenseman. He stays on him, however. And Cook will center it. Nicholas Sage in a little bit too deep. From the right point, it's wheeled low by Taylor McCloy. 100 seconds remain in this opening period, still without a score in this game. Max Cook rolling it back up the boards. Travis Jake puts it in behind the net. John Gustafson, the former Mayhem, will do the same thing. He was overskated by McCloy, played by Bednard, who's checked by Pirog. The puck floats into the slot, but into midair. It couldn't be hit by John Gustafson, who tried to smack it out of the air and on net. The Mayhem have cleared it as far as the opposing blue line. Travis Jake trying to catch the Mayhem in the midst of a line change here. Shane Bednard, the Bowling Green product, springs Bowen into the zone. He fires, stick saved by Stiliadis. Point blank stop on the SPHL's leading goal scorer. In behind the net, they battle for it. Zach Urban receives it from Ben Campbell and has rolled it around to the far half wall. Urban floats it out past Dylan Denemy. Couldn't kick it up to his stick. His fellow alternate captain Travis Jake has just flown it out in front of the Macon bench. Here comes Bednard, who's been out there a while, sustains a check. Here come the Mayhem on a counterattack. Dylan Denemy with a 3-on-2. Denemy puts it in front. Here's a chance. Mishandled. Caleb Cameron will put it behind the net. Colton Wolter couldn't quite handle that pass from Denemy, which would have given him virtually a quick 2-on-0 to the goal, but here he comes. He turns the corner to his backhand, fires, redirected on goal. They scrap away for it, but it was stopped by Brody Clays. Whipped around to the near half wall. 22 seconds. Campbell holds the line. will pump it down into the adjacent corner. Colton Wolter goes down, courtesy of Jarrett Cupp, who was just flattened by his former teammate Dylan Denemy. Denemy, Cameron Victor all in a puck battle along the end wall at the time being, and that's going to just about do it for period 1 as the final seconds tick off the clock. No score through the opening 20, but if you're Ryan Michael, you've got to like what you saw. Shots on goal still being updated. They were 11-6 when they were last updated by our off-ice official crew. Macon certainly with the edge in shots on net during that period. Brody Clays with an outstanding start to this game. Michael Stiliadis making a pair of point-blank saves as well. One of which came on the SPHL's leading goal scorer, Brian Bowen, who coming into this game has scored 26. He had one last night as well, yesterday morning, up in Fayetteville on the Marksmen only power play of the game. So the final shots on goal announcement from our PA announcer, 14-7 in favor of Macon through period 1. And they will certainly take that after a first period last night or yesterday morning in which they were outshot 8-3. And that 3 shots on goal total that they registered yesterday tied a franchise low, although one of those shots on goal ended up finding the net as Josh Cousineau, a wily SPHL veteran, managed to find the smallest of crevices and snuck it by Blake Woitala with a nice backhand shot from the right side of the goal line. So we're scoreless through the opening 20 minutes. Both penalty kills did their jobs. Though we did not have a goal, we did have a fight. Dylan Denemy and Nigel Slade. Denemy throwing a big hit on Tim Keelik, which instigated the fight, and then I'd say getting the edge on Nigel Slade in that scrap. Slade, I don't think really thought that it was a dirty hit or anything like that, just wanted to stand up for his teammate, which good on him. Going up against a substantially larger opponent in Dylan Denemy. So we're going to take a pause, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. I realize that our YouTube audience, because of the stream malfunction, didn't get a chance to listen to our pregame interview with the Mayhem head coach. So we're going to play that your way a second time. To our SPHL audience, we apologize. We're playing it back a second time. Just want to make sure that our YouTube listeners get a chance to hear what the Mayhem head coach had to say at the onset of this game. So that's coming your way next, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Again, to our YouTube listeners, thanks so much for joining us, and we appreciate your patience. And we'll be back in about 8 or 9 minutes or so to take a look around the SPHL, break down this game in greater detail, and much more. But until we come back, here's the Mayhem head coach, Ryan Michael.
Okay, welcome into our pregame show, everyone. We're so happy to have you with us tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor, streaming and on YouTube. I had the pleasure of being joined by the head coach of the Macon Mayhem, Ryan Michael. It's been a while, Coach. Thanks for being here. First question I have for you is, with what happened last night, you guys are coming off a really tough 10 a.m. start in Fayetteville, which is a challenge in and of itself. Tough result. You guys didn't get a point, even though I thought personally you probably played the best game in that building this season. What were some of your takeaways from yesterday morning's game?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a weird day. First 10 a.m. game we've had this year, and I think I had one as a player, so it's always a little different, in terms of kind of your preparation and whatnot. I thought we started a little sluggish in the first, and to have it tied going into the intermission after the first period, I thought we were a little lucky, and then second and third certainly better. Periods of time where we didn't play so well, but kind of we're bending and not breaking, and then some really good stretches, and then going into the third with the lead, just two mental mistakes, and against a team like that, sometimes that's kind of all it takes. So get a lot of positives out of it, and certainly, like you said, I think that was the best we've played them in their building all year. But there's no moral victory. An opportunity to get 2 points or at least one, we kind of let slip.
Well, it was a close one. It ended up being just a one-goal decision that was decided in regulation, so there were no points gained. However, the good news is these guys are right back here tonight. A chance for redemption awaits, and this will be the last chance the Mayhem have to defend their home ice against Fayetteville this season. Somebody who made his debut last night, yesterday morning, was Bobby Sokol. He was wearing the number 14. We got to see him for the first time in a Mayhem uniform, and it's been a while since you've seen him. Really haven't seen him much since you played up at Hobart College. What did you think seeing him out there on your team yesterday?
Yeah, I thought he did pretty well. He's a bit of a water bug. Smaller kid, got good enough wheels, and kind of gets around the ice pretty quick. Some shifts I played him with Cameron and Walter, and other times I had him with Denemy and Pat. He's got to get a little bit acclimated to the speed of the game, I think. We had such good success points-wise down in Port Huron, but my message to him is not to concentrate so much on the points as much as doing the little details and things that are going to help us win.
Do those things first, and the points will follow, as they say. But you'll see that a lot, guys, with really strong numbers in the Federal Prospects Hockey League come up to this level and just take a few games to adjust to the change in pace and change in speed. And there have been success stories exemplified by a few players in the Mayhem this season in that respect. Just look at David Pulowski and Mike Chamello and others. And speaking of new additions, Coach, there's going to be two more that are going to be debuting for the Mayhem tonight. Defenseman Cooper Jones and forward Eric Ilatello. Sort of a surprise addition to the team this week for both of them. Not something we really expected, but two welcome additions from what I've been told. How much of an impact do you foresee them making as the team continues its push for a playoff berth?
Right. For me, it's, I think Zemlik is going to be going on the IR with his shoulder, so looking to bring in a D, and the opportunity kind of presented itself, and, for me, we got to keep continuously, keeping guys on their toes in terms of, job security, and always having that edge that somebody else might be coming in. For the both of them, I think Jones, he's a smaller, right shot D, so it gives us 3-3 for the first time in I don't know how long. He's a smaller kid, moves the puck well, skates pretty well, so and Eric's a bigger body forward on the left side, and lately we've kind of been a little smaller. For him, it's kind of the same as Sokol. They're a little bit different in size, but it's about forechecking hard and using his size to his advantage and just being simple. Same with Jonesy, and I think they're both excited to kind of be here and be given an opportunity to kind of show what they can do, and I'm excited to have them.
It really will be nice finally seeing the three lefties on the left and three righties on the right. We probably, I don't think, have seen that since Nick Minerva and Rennie Hunter were here, which was back in November. So it's been a good long while since we were split down the middle on the D side, so I'm sure that'll be refreshing for you as a former defenseman to see out there. The team has also seen a marked drop in penalties this season, Coach, as the campaign has gone along. In the early weeks of the campaign, you guys were first in the league in penalty minutes per game. You're now seventh, which is a really impressive drop, I think. Do you think the team has just made a concerted effort to be more disciplined, or do you think that penalties as a whole have been not being called as much just because we're in the home stretch of the season here?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe a bit of both. Kind of some changes in roster. Certainly not really in philosophy of play, but I would say overall we do a little bit better of a job, and maybe not as well as I want to yet, of angling and getting in front of people rather than using the stick and all those ticky-tack calls that are away from the play that aren't really necessary. I think we've done a better job kind of going forward, and our penalty kills, I think, 5th in the league, so it's okay. So I'm certainly confident in situations we have to use it, but the more we don't have to and burn kind of the same guys, it makes me happy.
Without a doubt, and we'll see another tough power play coming into our building again tonight. They scored on their only opportunity yesterday. Just by virtue of the talent that they have on the power play, it's always going to be a situation where you want to put them on the ice as little as you possibly can, and that kind of segues into the last question I have for you tonight, Coach. The team that we're facing tonight, we haven't been able to defeat yet. They're just one of two teams in the league that we haven't beaten yet this season, and it just seems to me like when we've struggled against them the most, it's when their top guns are just really firing on all cylinders. That big line that they have with Max Cook and Brian Bowen have just done a lot of damage to the Mayhem this season. From your eyes, having seen them so much this year, what's going to be the biggest key to shutting them down?
For me, it's not really so much a personnel thing. I'll try to match up at times with them, depending on where the face-off is. But for the most part, I try to have enough trust and confidence in all three lines and all my D to kind of be able to play against those guys. I think it's more just a philosophy of taking away their time and space and making life hard. I think it's. If you give guys like Cook and Bowen a bunch of room to skate and make moves, you're going to be in trouble. You got to get in their face. You have to slow them down. You have to make it tough on them all night, and that starts right from the start. Every time you get a chance to hit them or stick them, you got to do it, because over the course of 3 periods, that's what kind of wears them down and makes them a little bit more reluctant to go to the net, or they start hearing footsteps. So we just got to play them hard, and hopefully we'll keep them off the board.
Yeah, being disruptive. That's one of our 3 keys of the game for tonight against Fayetteville. Coach, really appreciate your time and good luck out there.
Thank you, sir.
That's Ryan Michael, the head coach of your Macon Mayhem. This has been your pregame show. We'll be back in just a moment with starting lineups and more right after this.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of SPHL Calls of the Week. In Roanoke, I'm Brian Gardner. We're approaching the stretch run of the SPHL regular season, and you all know the drill. Let's dive in with the highlights from around the league. We'll begin on Saturday in the Quad Cities, where the Storm and the Fayetteville Marksmen matched up for the second of 3 over the weekend. And it was the Storm who got on the board first. The former marksman Michael Casali set up Greg Burmaster on a 2-on-1 rush. Here to tell you about it is Brian Rothenberger.
It's over the blue line, fakes the shot, drops it off Keeler. Keeler centers, McCoy shoots just wide of the net. Cup lost his footing, and that's fortunate. He might have had some space on that far side as Casali pokes it around the defender. It could be a 2-on-1 chance. Casali walks in, gets it to Burmaster. He shoots, they score! Greg Burmaster taps it home on a 2-on-1. And with 2:05 left to go in the first period, it's 1-0 Quad City.
The Storm went on to win that game 4-2, but it was sandwiched around a pair of losses as Quad City managed just 2 out of a possible 6 points on the weekend. Also on Saturday, the Knoxville Ice Bears were at home against the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs for the second of 2. A Marcus Ortiz goal tied the game in the third to force overtime, but in OT, the Ice Bears cashed in on a power play. Time for Joel Silverberg.
The circle across, Price back door, run in front, they score! Oh, yes, for Josh Petrantonio! And the Ice Bears win 4-3 in overtime!
Josh Petrantonio finished on some gorgeous passing, and the Ice Bears took the extra point for their 5th win in their past 6 games. The action continued on Sunday in Peoria with the Rivermen hosting the Evansville Thunderbolts. The game was tied 1-1 in the second period when chaos ensued. Here's Andrew Mossbrooks to take you through it.
Jones is having his gloves up to defend himself, but McPherson throws haymakers. Robin Hoagland and Thacker have a discussion. Now Paul Frazier sends Thacker almost over his bench. Meanwhile, Hoagland and Helms begin fighting. Their helmets are off. Frazier is trying to find a dance partner in Thacker. And Kyle Thacker and Frazier's gloves come off. All hell breaking loose in Carver Arena Sunday afternoon.
Those fights were part of a game that saw 149 combined penalty minutes on 34 infractions. There were 6 separate game misconducts handed out in what eventually was a 2-1 Rivermen win. Let's close things out for the week in Huntsville, where the Rail Yard Dogs were visiting the Havoc for an early evening tilt. Less than a minute after the Dogs tied the game in the third period, they'd take the lead while skating 4-on-4. Here's my call from the VBC. And the Rail Yard Dogs will skate 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. 8:22 to go in the third as the Rail Yard Dogs win a D-zone draw. The score is tied 2-2. Matt O'Day now down the left wing. O'Day with an edge. O'Day shoots, and he scores! Matt O'Day! Top shelf glove catching side, and the Rail Yard Dogs have taken the lead. O'Day the goal, it's 3-2. O'Day's snipe put Roanoke up for good, and it held on in Huntsville for a 3-2 win. That's all for this edition of SPHL Calls of the Week. Until next time, I'm Brian Gardner.
Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed that interview with Mayhem head coach Ryan Michael that was done before this game. For those of you tuned in on YouTube, I know that you didn't get a chance to listen to it before, so we were happy to play it a second time for you in case you were wondering what the Mayhem head coach had to say at the onset of this game. Following, of course, the SPHL Calls of the Week. That's done every single week by Brian Gardner, the voice of the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs, who does an outstanding job putting those together. So a stick tap to Mr. Gardner for all of his hard work every week in constructing those compilation video, well, not videos, but audio compilations, we'll call them. The Mayhem, the Fayetteville Marksmen, scoreless through the first period of play. 14-7, the shots on goal in favor of Macon. They've not had a period like that against Fayetteville all season, so certainly a promising start to the game for the Mayhem thus far. I'm sure Jesse Kalecki had plenty to say to his squad during that first intermission. They did begin to turn things around and tip the scales in their favor a little bit as the period wore on. Just an outstanding start to this game for Macon. Unfortunately for them, they could not use that to their advantage and get any sort of edge on the scoreboard, as we're still in a scoreless stalemate through the first 20 minutes of play. As promised, let's take you around the Southern Professional Hockey League and take a look at the teams in action tonight. There are 8 teams going on this evening, 4 games. And 2 of them have not started yet, so there's not a whole lot of news around the league just yet. Roanoke with a 1-0 lead over the Peoria Rivermen tonight. That's bad news for the Mayhem as they're chasing the Rail Yard Dogs. It's good news for Fayetteville, who are hoping to secure first place. Still plenty of time left, obviously, this season, but right now they are just 1 point behind the Peoria Rivermen. They were in sole possession of first place for about, I'd say, 8 or 9 hours last night. After defeating the Mayhem in regulation, the Rivermen had not played their first game against Roanoke yet, so the Marksmen enjoyed 8 or 9 hours or so on top of the SPHL, but then Peoria won in a shootout against Roanoke and reclaimed that spot as the SPHL's top team. Right now, Jean-Guy Trudel and company trail 6.5 minutes into period 2 at the hands of Dan Bremner and the Rail Yard Dogs. That's a team that, even though they did not get off to a very great start this season, a team you can't really overlook. Really, any of these teams in the league, folks, the parity in the SPHL has grown substantially just from last season to this one. It's not as cut and dry, the top and the bottom teams. Just use this as an example. And I know it's still early in this game, but we're 20 minutes in, and you've got a team that's sitting in second place, 1 point behind first place, and you've got a team that's in 10th place. And the team in 10th place outshot the second place team 14-7 in the first period. And if that doesn't say parity, I don't know what does. And that's a good thing for the Southern Professional Hockey League. You really can't count out any team this season. And really, of all 8 teams that make it to the postseason, any one of them has a chance to win the President's Cup. So it's certainly a good thing for the league. It's a good direction that the league is heading in, and the Mayhem will hope to keep that rolling as this game goes on. We're just about a minute away from second period action here at the Macon Centreplex. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone, on SPHL Live and on YouTube. We're glad to have you with us this evening. For those of you tuned in from the Fayetteville side, sorry that typical voice of the Marksmen, Sean Bednard, did not make the trip. But I'll try to do my best to keep this broadcast as objective as possible in his absence. So the Mayhem, after tonight, will host the Birmingham Bulls tomorrow on Pucks and Paws Night, which is always a hit here at the Macon Centreplex. Last season, it was the most attended game of the 2018-19 campaign, with over 3,400 in attendance. And as a proud dog dad, I was really thrilled to see Hazel pull it off last season. She's going to be participating in the race again this season, hoping to defend her crown. hoping that the $200 worth of rewards that she won from Noah's Ark Pets and Grooming don't slow her down too much when push comes to shove. But we're just about ready to go here for the second period of Making Mistakes Night. The puck drops, we are underway. The Mayhem maintain control following the neutral zone draw. And Zach Urban is beaten to it by Tim Keelik in the neutral zone, who dumps it into the left corner of the Macon zone. Urban is on it now. He will lead a pass ahead. It went off of Keelik's stick. On the second effort, he gets it out to Sokol in the neutral zone. He goes wide on Victor. It's scooped up by Nicholas Age, who is sandwiched. He had to turn and get rid of it before being collided from two sides. And here comes Fayetteville's Cannon Peeper across the Macon blue line. He's closed off, loses his helmet. He's along the far half wall now. Will just skate slowly back to the Fayetteville bench. Ben Campbell's in control of it behind his own goal line. He is checked down to the ice by Nigel Slade. Zach Urban is pickpocketed by Slade, who's got it in the far corner. Slade with a good shift, attempts a backhand shot on the wraparound. Stiliadis had the post covered and made the save. Now Sokol will punch it out to center, and it's been dumped in wide of the goal of Fayetteville by Caleb Cameron. Cameron gets it back as Clays didn't rim it around the boards. Cameron will try to send it down to Colton Wolter. Wolter harassed by Martin down, Taylor McCloy. Now Bowen's got it. Bowen has slid it across to Jarrett Cupp. Cupp across the blue line down the right side, pulls up into the circle and fires. A kick save is made by Michael Stiliadis. And the puck's been cleared out to center by Mike Camello, where it's scooped up by Fayetteville captain Max Cook. We're a minute and a half into the second period. Still no score at the Macon Centreplex between the Mayhem and the Fayetteville Marksmen. The puck is now on the stick of John Gustafson. He will deliver it to his left for Jarrett Cupp. Cupp out to center for McCloy. Kuzno's got it. Now to Arfelt. Oscar Arfelt, the former marksman, can't clear it past Bowen, who put it in front for Cook. He's got a turn. He's heavily outnumbered. Arfelt not letting Cook get going, and that's smart. Puck rattles awkwardly into the bottom of the near circle, and the Mayhem come away with it. They've got numbers into the attacking zone. Camello down the right side. Tried to center it. It was broken up by Wyatt Tremblay, playing in just his second game with the Marksmen. He debuted for them yesterday. Travis Jake has it inside of his own trapezoid. Travis Jake, the reigning SPHL's Defenseman of the Year, led the SPHL in points by a defenseman last season, the Boston College product. He's got it behind his own net now. 2 of his 3 goals this season have come against Macon, and they both came on opening night, way back on October 18th, one of which was the overtime game winner in the 3-on-3. Travis Jake with it now. Slides it across his own blue line outside of the reach of Wyatt Tremblay. John Gustafson. Checked by Pawlowski, but he punched it across the blue line. The Mayhem are quickly out of their own zone. Keplinger down the right side. He waits, he centers it, nice pass, and Dylan Denemy was hooked on the way through to the goal. That's going to be a penalty called against Fayetteville. Hooking the infraction, and the Mayhem back to the power play for the second time tonight. Denemy may be arguing for a penalty shot. I don't believe he's going to get one. It was not enough of a clear-cut breakaway. But John Gustafson, who back-checked very hard, he's got too much midsection with his stick. So the Mayhem will go back to the man advantage for the second time tonight. 17:02 to go in the second period. This will be Macon's second power play opportunity, their third on the weekend thus far, if you count yesterday as being part of the weekend. Tim Keelik dumps it into the right corner of the Macon zone. Dylan Denemy is back to get it. He will reverse it past McCloy, right to Colton Wolter. Slides it diagonally to his left. Zach Urban, the lone defenseman out there. He will pump one into Fayetteville ice. Stephen Pirog turns the corner. Backhands a pass to Caleb Cameron. And now it's Wolter. Pushes the puck too far into his path. Keelik's able to take it over and shovel it out to neutral ice. Zach Urban's got it. The Calgary, Alberta native backpedals in behind his own net. Taylor McCloy will head to the Fayetteville bench to be replaced by Max Cook. Urban to Josh Cousineau. Put it across the blue line to Stephen Pirog on his right. Pirog's pass is interrupted, and the Marksmen have cleared it out to Oscar Arfelt at center. Caleb Cameron near his own bench hammers it in. It gets blocked. Cousineau searching for it. It's played by Nigel Slade. Slade, from his backhand, is able to clear one down. Past the Macon blue line all the way in below the Macon goal line. We're halfway through this Mayhem power play already. Brought to you by Wild Wing Cafe. Kuzno's pass was off the mark for Keplinger. Arfelt follows up, carries it into the right circle with a toe drag and a shot. Awkward looking save by Brody Clays. Arfelt did an outstanding job just getting that shot on net. His original shot was blocked by a diving Fayetteville stick, and then the puck fluttered up in the air, and somehow Arfelt managed to whack it out of midair from his backhand and on net, and a sprawling pad save was made by Brody Clays. And that goal would have stood. It was not hit by a high stick. Clays has had an excellent game so far, really ever since he's come in relief of Blake Woitala yesterday. Stopped all but one of the shots the Mayhem have sent his way, and there have been plenty of them. Josh Keplinger to the line for Arfelt. Now to Kuzno, left circle, tees it up, slap pass into the middle, off the skates of Pulowski, but he recovers it, far corner. David Pulowski, left circle, fires, blocked, goes right to Kuzno. Kuzno from the far circle, up to the left point, Oscar Arfelt returns it, Kuzno, Arfelt, deep slot, wrist shot through a screen, missed the left post as it was redirected on the way through. 15 seconds on the power play, Kuzno in the left circle, tried to slip one across to Keplinger. Broken up, and the Marksmen could get a 2-on-1. McLeod on the right side, wheels in, fires, and a stick save is made by Stiliadis. He might have gotten the knob of the stick on that shot by McLeod. Now here comes Keplinger, joined by 2 on his left. He misfired on his shot. Left point held in the zone. The Marksmen return to full strength, and Pulowski attempts a backdoor tap-in pass for Keplinger that was blocked by a Fayetteville skate. The Mayhem reorganizing now at center. Both teams changing personnel following the special teams units. And Pirog will just circle back to his own blue line. He was cut off by Bednard and had to just drop it back to Larry Smith. Now it's Cooper Jones making his Mayhem debut tonight. Across the blue line for Eric Ilatalo, who spins, lost the puck, gets it to Cimello, however, good recovery. Cimello for Ilatalo, who hammers a one-timer wide of the goal. Cimello scoops it up, following the carom off the backboards. At our next whistle, we'll have our first media timeout of period 2. Ilatalo to the line, Jones, D-to-D, Smith tees it up, slap shot, just wide of the right post. Jones steps in down the half wall, puts it to Ilatalo near corner. Now it's Pirog up to Smith. Smith will take it behind the goal line, and his pass just goes wide of Ilatalo. The Marksmen are able to chip it off the glass over a jumping Pirog out to center. Jones carries it right back in. The Marksmen are exhausted. Left circle, Jones with a shot, missed the left post. This is the period of the long change, and the Marksmen have just iced the puck. Fortunately for them, there will be a whistle, so they'll be able to get a breather because of the media timeout, and I think they were aware of that when they decided to ice the puck. 13:47 to go in period 2, scoreless at the Macon Centreplex. I will say, folks, it's not very often that you'll see Larry Smith, who's about as defensive of a defenseman as you could get, carry the puck into the left corner, either corner, below the opposing goal line in an attempt to generate offense. But that's a sign of confidence. And he and Cooper Jones have only been paired up together for, 26 minutes of play so far? 26 minutes and 13 seconds to be exact. And they've already seemed to click together pretty well. They're sort of the yin to each other's yang. Jones, a much smaller, more mobile defenseman, a little more offensive-minded defenseman. Smith, a larger, older, more stay-at-home, shutdown defenseman who led the Mayhem in plus-minus last season and was very reliable, excellent shot blocker. But he and Jones, they just are sort of natural complements to one another. And on that last shift, it really showed. I think Ryan Michaels certainly got something in the works with that defensive pair. Colton Wolter winning the offensive zone faceoff. Ben Campbell will tap it below the net inside of the trapezoid. Cameron checked by Jarrett Cupp. And the Marksmen have possession now as they will exit their own zone. Racing out to center, Shane Bednard. He will float it to his right, hoping to get it to Brian Bowen. It was outside of his reach. The Mayhem back in control now behind their own net. Zach Urban's got it. Colton Wolter will skate down the right side. He's closed off by Josh Victor. Tim Keelik Lost it to Wolter. Cam throws a pretty good size hit into Victor, but the Marksmen escape with possession as Max Cook will punch one ahead to Bowen. Bowen lost his stick. Travis Jake steps in. He rolled it back up to the top of the circle. Zach Urban recovers it for Macon. Urban below his own goal line is flushed out by Max Cook. He will slide it to his left. Here comes Ben Campbell. Campbell angles it off the boards. Caleb Cameron shovels it into the Fayetteville zone. Josh Victor is back defensively. He will pass one along to Nicholas Sage from the far corner. Backhands it up the boards and it's going to whack the other direction back into Fayetteville ice. Josh Victor is pursued by Keplinger. Another clean breakout by the Marksmen as the puck flutters its way towards the Macon blue line. Oscar Arfelt up to Cousineau. Keelik recovers for Fayetteville. He will slide it to his right to Jarrett Cupp. Cupp's got it now near his own blue line. 12:10 to go in period 2. Still we're scoreless. Cupp's pass is intercepted at center by Alex de Oliveira, who missed the right post with his shot. And Oscar Arfelt has it chipped past him by Martin and down into Macon territory. De Oliveira to Arfelt. Arfelt up the right side, hoping for Keplinger, missed his stick. As Ilatello pursues it now in the near corner. Gets some help from Stephen Pirog in a 2-on-3 scrap for possession favoring Fayetteville. And Jarrett Cupp comes away with it as a result. Cupp steps in front of his own net. Wheels to the near side and just floats it out towards the Macon blue line. It'll land in the Larry Smith vicinity. He shovels it around the end wall. Chimello near the half wall on the near side. Gets it out to Stephen Pirog. 3-on-2 develops. Pirog across the blue line to his left. Smith with a shot. Glove save by Brody Clays, and he'll hang on to it with 11:17 to go in period 2. Still without a score at the Macon Centreplex. Larry Smith really jumping in offensively tonight, more than we're used to seeing from him. 11:17 to go in period 2. Scoreless between the Mayhem and the Fayetteville Marksmen. Colton Wolter lines up to take this face-off against Max Cook. And the puck drops. Cook is able to get the better of Wolter on that draw, and it's been shoveled out by Wyatt Trumbley. He's held in the zone at the left point just barely by Caleb Cameron. And Josh Victor able to sell a high sticking penalty called against Dylan Denemy. Mayhem will go back to the penalty kill for the second time tonight. Denemy got his stick too high on Victor, and the Marksman will go to the power play. Fayetteville's power play coming into this game, clicking at 18.9%, which is good for 4th best in the SPHL. It converted on its only opportunity yesterday, Brian Bowen scoring the power play goal. And he's out there now, along with all the rest of Fayetteville's big guns. Bowen up to Jake in the deep slot. Tees it up, left circle, back to Jake, across to Bednard, right circle. Bowen hammers a one-timer, and a sliding lateral save is made by Stiliadis. Puck was played by a Fayetteville high stick, so the faceoff will exit Macon ice. This Mayhem penalty kill is brought to you by J&J's Heating and Air Conditioning. Dylan Denemy serving a 2-minute minor for high sticking. And the faceoff will be, looks like, adjacent the All-State bonding penalty box. Max Cook against Stephen Pirog, won by the former of the two, and it's soccered back from Gustafson to Bowen. And now Travis Jake has it in his own zone. Jake stops behind his own net. Bednard tags up at the goal line and begins to accelerate down the right wing. Bednard scored the late equalizer yesterday to make the score 3-3 in the third period. He's got it now along the far half wall. Excellent work, and Pirog kicks it up to his stick, trying to split the defense. He gets a breakaway. Pirog to his forehand shoots, and a pad save is made by Brody Clays. That was Josh Cousineau who made that whole play happen. Excellent work ethic along near the far point of the Macon zone. He was outnumbered 2-1 and sprung his teammate on a breakaway shorthanded. Right point, it's Brian Bowen. Travis Jake, long slap shot from the slot, handled by Michael Stiliadis, who was square to it all the way. We're 4 seconds away from reaching the midway point of this game. 58 seconds remain on the penalty called against Dylan Denemy for the high stick. Macon's penalty kill right around 83%. It sort of seems like it's topped off after going through about a month or a month and a half of continued progression. But Mayhem head coach Ryan Michael has stated he won't be satisfied until it's a top 3 penalty kill in the league. David Pawlowski has chopped it into the Fayetteville zone. Jarrett Cupp, the ex-Mayhem defenseman, 90 games played with the organization if you include playoffs. Will drop it to Tim Keelik. He sidesteps Ela Tallow. It's been cleared by Arfelt. I beg your pardon, it was cleared. Glover did not think it was. He continued playing. So an offside whistle blows. It had just crossed the blue line, and Drake Glover and his team are going to have to come back out to center to take this face-off. 9.5 to play here in period 2. Still no score at the Macon Centreplex. 24 seconds remaining on the penalty called against Dylan Denemy for the high stick. We'll be right back, folks. We're going to take a brief pause for the cause on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We'll be back before you know it. Keep it right here on SPHL Live and on YouTube.
The beloved Family 4-Pack is back. The Mayhem are offering this incredibly affordable package for several games throughout the season. For just $50, you receive 4 tickets and a $30 gift card to Texas Roadhouse at 5080 Riverside Drive right here in Macon. The dates for these 4-pack nights will be announced on social media as they become finalized, so be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for all the most up-to-date content.
Just 24 seconds remaining on the penalty called against Dylan Denemy. Meanwhile, shots on goal remain in favor of Macon by a pretty substantial margin. Right now it's showing 19-11. It was 14-7 heading into the first intermission. Fayetteville with time for one last push on their power play. Colton Wolter gives his team a nice start as he wins the neutral zone faceoff. Nick Lesage to Jarrett Cupp. Cupp leaves it for Lesage, who will begin the breakout for the Marksmen. He slides it to his right. Taylor McCloy's got it. Up the middle for Tim Keelik and across the Macon blue line. Keelik, who can fly, sends it across. One-timer, kick save by Stiliadis. Excellent save on Jarrett Cupp. Far half wall, it's taken away from Lesage, but not cleared. Keelik's pass intercepted. Here comes Arfelt the other way, joined by Denemy, fresh out of the box. Denemy with a shot, swallowed by Brody Clays. 8:56 to go in period 2, still without a score here in this hockey game. Couple of good stops on either side. First, it was Stiliadis denying Jarrett Cupp on that one-timer from the right circle. He was fed a wonderful pass by Tim Keelik. And then on the other side, Dylan Denemy, who scored from virtually that exact spot last weekend down in Pensacola. Just denied by Brody Clays, who's been outstanding tonight for Fayetteville. This game is turning into one which could come down to which goaltender blinks first. Mike Ciamello back to the point. Cooper Jones slides it to the right corner for Ela Tallow. Back up to Jones, who hammers a one-timer on goal. And Brody Clays makes the stop without conceding a rebound. That was a hard one-timer from Cooper Jones. Jones, an ex-Halifax Moosehead in the QMJHL. Also played in the USHL last season for the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. Just 21 years of age, out of the Boston area. Has some ECHL experience under his belt as well with the Adirondack Thunder. Long point shot by Cooper Jones, redirects wide. Far half wall, it's Cannon Pieper, the ex-Birmingham Bull, who will put it to Josh Victor in behind the Fayetteville net. Victor getting some help from Wyatt Trumbley. Ela Tallow trying to win possession from Trumbley at the time being underneath the Fayetteville goal line. 8:15 to go in the second, still without a score in this one. And the puck's been hoisted out to the blue line. Nice keep by Cooper Jones. Here's Pirog with a chance. Stephen Pirog lost it to Tim Keelik. Pirog's got to just circle back away from Trumbley and drop it off to Cooper Jones, who's had an excellent last shift or two here. It's been dumped in by Ilatalo, who will now go to the Macon bench to complete a change. All 5 marksmen are back to get this puck out of their own zone, and they succeed. Brought through center by Drake Glover and across the blue line on the left side. Keeper checked. And Ben Campbell goes into the near corner to rim it around to the far half wall. Josh Cousineau knocks it free. He's able to put one into the neutral zone for David Pulowski. Pulowski carries in across the blue line, passes it to himself off the near corner boards. He's brought down by Travis Jake. And Josh Cousineau will roll it down the far half wall, intercepted by Jake and cleared out in front of the Macon bench. Cousineau's pass pinballs off of Pulowski, who will reset. 7:08 to go in period 2, still scoreless. Cousineau near the left point of the Fayetteville zone, had his pass bounce off a stick, lands near Urban, right point, bounces to Cook in the slot, and Travis Jake has angled it off the near half wall. Drake Glover's got it, and he will spear it one ahead. Here comes Max Cook, slamming on the brakes, left circle. He delays, feeds it down to Brian Bowen, who's checked by Campbell. Campbell stays on it. Nice play by the Duluth, Minnesota native, and the Mayhem are out to center. They've got a 2-on-2 developing. Wolter down the left side, joined by Sokol. He goes to the net. The pass goes on net. Clays is able to make the save. 6.5 to play in period 2. No score between the Mayhem and the Fayetteville Marksmen. If you didn't know better, you wouldn't think that's the case. There have been plenty of scoring opportunities, more than enough to warrant a high-scoring game, I would think, but it's been scoreless. Thanks in no small part due to the spectacular goaltending we've seen on both sides. So the Marksmen winning the defensive zone faceoff courtesy of Nigel Slade. Taylor McCloy's pass is broken up in the neutral zone by Alex de Oliveira, and here come the Mayhem again. Down the right side, it's Cameron. Cameron dips the shoulder, drops it to Denemy. Dylan Denemy near corner, reverses one. Cameron's no longer there. It's played by Victor, and now Colton Wolter's got it. He's pinned up, loses the puck. Victor comes away with it, and the Marksmen are out to center. John Gustafson just flung one into the right corner where it's gunned down by Taylor McCloy. McCloy put it in behind the net. Oscar Arfelt jimmies one along to the near corner. Arfelt overskates it a tad. It's played by Nigel Slade from the Marksmen. Fought against Denemy back in the first period. Long pass from the right point to the left corner. Finds Tremblay, left point, his long shot redirected on goal. McCloy couldn't find a way to bury it. Stiliadis had his number, made the save. Arfelt can't clear it. Gustafson took it away. He fires, blocked by Arfelt, in out of play. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. Oscar Arfelt, the former marksman, bailing himself out there after failing to clear the zone. His countryman John Gustafson was able to block the clearing attempt, and Arfelt got in the way of the shot and blocked it, forcing the puck out of play. 5:35 to go in the second. Still scoreless at the Centreplex. Stephen Pirog against his fellow captain Max Cook. The face-off taking place in the left circle of the Macon zone to the right of Michael Stiliadis. And Cooper Jones' clearing attempt fails. Drake Glover saw to that. Larry Smith will get an opportunity. He rolls it up the far boards. Ilatalo able to punch one across the blue line. Pirog, Chimello, Jones all across the Fayetteville line. Pirog slams on the brakes and sends a diagonal pass through the air into the right corner. Jarrett Cupp is able to take it away from Chimello. And here comes Brian Bowen. I beg your pardon, Max Cook up to Bowen, right side. The give and go doesn't work out. Nice read by Ilatalo, who sends it back into Fayetteville ice. It'll be retrieved by Travis Jake. He spins. Jake can't clear it. It was blocked by Ilatalo. Mike Chimello went down temporarily, but he's back onto his skates. In the meantime, here comes Cook down the right side. Attempts to dangle through Larry Smith. That won't happen often. And the puck is sent towards the net and stopped by Stiliadis on the makeshift shot. Chimello up to Ilatalo. From the Mayhem logo at center ice has just dumped it in. 4.5 to play in the second. Still without a score here in this one. Puck rolls back to the point for a long slap shot by Ben Campbell that's stopped through traffic by Brody Clays. We're going to head to our final media timeout of period 2. Still without a score, 4.5 to play here in period 2. We'll be back in just a moment, folks. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on the Mayhem Broadcast Network.
Trying to plan out a night of fun for an upcoming birthday? Why not spend it right here with the Mayhem? The Tommy's Bakery and Cafe Birthday Suite is available right here at the Macon Centreplex for all home games during the 2019-20 season. The birthday suite comes chock full of benefits, including 12 tickets, a private suite area with a great view of the ice, donuts from Tommy's Bakery, a visit from Mac the Mascot, and a special present for the birthday child. All of this for just $250, with additional tickets available for $12 each. Visit MaconMayhem.com or call our office for more information.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, we are still scoreless in this game. You wouldn't believe it based on the way that it's been played, but that is the case. This could be a game in which one mistake determines the entire result. We've seen spectacular goaltending and defensive play all night long. Josh Cousineau to take this offensive zone face-off against Shane Bednard. He wins it cleanly back to Ben Campbell, who had a hard time settling that puck. Eventually did. Keplinger turns it at the net, stopped by Clays with his stick. Well, that puck just would not settle down for Ben Campbell, who just before he was swarmed by two marksmen. He was able to settle it and roll it down the half wall for David Pawlowski, who set up Keplinger for a pretty good scoring chance from the inside of the far circle, where this next faceoff will take place. 4:19 to go in the second. Cousineau against Cannon Pieper. Check that, it was Nigel Slade. Cousineau won the draw. Campbell takes it into the far corner. Will have to back up. He rolls it behind the net. Keplinger's got it. Josh Keplinger. The best game of his career against the Marksmen back on March 2nd of last season. Sokol rolls it on net. It trickles its way into the crease, and it was covered by Brody Clays. Back on Pucks and Paws night last year, Josh Keplinger had a night for the ages. It was his first weekend pro and scored 5 points, which broke a Mayhem franchise record. 2 goals, 3 assists. To this day, still holds the record for most points in a single game by a Mayhem player. I think the Marksmen are probably glad that the Mayhem are not playing them again this year on Pucks and Paws night, which is tomorrow. They'll be hosting the Birmingham Bulls. Bowen loses the puck to Colton Wolter, who couldn't make anything happen. He was trying to get it to Denemy behind the net, but it was intercepted by Wyatt Trumbley, who will dump it into Macon ice. Caleb Cameron has gone back below his own goal line to fetch it. It's no stranger to him. He's played defense quite a bit this season when needed. Caleb Cameron out in front of the Macon bench, steps across the Fayetteville blue line. He pulls the trigger, it's blocked. Denemy catches up with a loose puck. Dylan Denemy up to the blue line. Cooper Jones, long shot, blocked by Cameron. That's Urban, rather, who will feed it, or get the pass, rather, from Jones. And his shot redirects wide into the the far corner, and Oscar Arfelt is surrounded. Couldn't make anything happen, and now the Marksmen come away with it. Tim Keelik down the left wing. Travis Jake, left point. We'll slide it across. Here's Cup shooting, blocked. Alex DeOliveira's got it now for Macon. DeOliveira up to Eric Ilatalo. 39 games played for the Knoxville Ice Bears last season. Scored 18 points, one of which came against Macon in his lone game against the Mayhem last season. Travis Jake's got it. Bounced it off the near boards. The Marksmen have gotten it out to the red line at center ice. DeOliveira up to Chimello now. Back in across the Fayetteville blue line with 2.5 to go in the second period. Still without a score in this game. Jake from his forehand had his pass go off the back of Chimello's skates. Cooper Jones will roll one up the boards. Chimello enters the zone. He will slide it to his left. Here's a shot. Ilatalo just missed the net. Rattles back out to the right point. Jones steps in, gets some help from Pirog, whose shot is seen all the way through by Brody Clays, who's made the glove save. 2:07 to go in the second. Still no score. Imagine Ryan Michaels really got to be liking what he's seeing from the two additions. Cooper Jones and Eric Ilatalo have both had grade A scoring opportunities in this game. Ilatalo on that last one just looked like missed the right post by a matter of inches. But that was a howitzer of a wrist shot. 2:07 to go in the second. David Pawlowski taking an offensive zone face-off, countered by Nigel Slade. Pawlowski jumped the gun. So Josh Cousineau, who has been no stranger to center over his long SPHL career, will step in to take the draw. It's won by Fayetteville and cleared by Nicholas Sage out to center. Cooper Jones played it down. He's got to hustle back defensively as Pieper storms the Macon zone. He turns, drops it back to the line. It's knocked away by Josh Keplinger, who attempted to win the foot race against Josh Victor. Couldn't do it. Left side, it's Smith. He dumps it in. Bounces on net. It's played by Clays, who will just take a whistle. 106 seconds remaining in the second period. The Mayhem will get another offensive zone face-off. This one will be to Clays' left, his glove side. Mayhem getting a fresh unit out there for this offensive zone face-off. Ryan Michael deciding to put the Walter Cameron Denemy line out there. Kalecki countering with Shane Bednard to take this defensive zone face-off. Bednard gets the job done. Marksmen have cleared it out towards the red line at center. Bednard dumps it in. Stiliadis slows it down, but doesn't completely stop its progress. And Cooper Jones has a bit of a blowout into the corner boards. Smith. Oh, it looks like Caleb Cameron ran into Wyatt Tremblay in the neutral zone there. Nothing called for interference on either side. Tremblay's got it now behind his own net. Wyatt Tremblay, Dylan Denemy in the F1 position. Tremblay sends it to Nicholas Sage. His pass taken away by Dylan Denemy, who's an excellent forechecker, but he didn't have anyone to pass to in the offensive zone after taking the puck away. Puck trickles on net, and it's stopped again by Clays, who will have no problem with another defensive zone face-off. His team has done a very good job in winning those draws so far tonight. Max Cook, Shane Bednard, and Nigel Slade have all been pretty strong in the face-off category. Tim Keelik will take this one against the other number 11, Stephen Pirog. That was sort of a 50-50 puck that's eventually taken by the marksman. Jarrett Cupp has floated it out to McCloy at center. Taylor McCloy at the red line. Guides one into the Fayetteville zone. Cupp chasing after it. He will put one behind the Macon net. Ben Campbell sends it to the far side. 38 seconds. Eric Ilatalo comes away with the puck. He gives it to Sokol, who's trying to motor by. It was played away by Jarrett Cupp. Nice defensive stick, and the puck was played on a delayed offside by Eric Ilatalo. So this faceoff will exit the Fayetteville zone. 28 seconds to go in the second period. Still we're scoreless as this game wears on. The neutral zone draw will be just to the right of the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box. Pirog against Keelik again in the circle. And the puck drops. Pirog whacks it back to Ben Campbell. He tees up a slap shot, just hammers it around the boards. And Josh Victor stops it behind his own net. He's surrounded by, looks like Sokol and Ilatalo, the latter of whom crashes into McCloy on the far corner. 10 seconds remain. Sokol lost his footing. Pirog trying to make something happen in the closing seconds. Just too many white sweaters behind the net. The marksmen avoid any damage being done. Still without a score through 40 minutes of play. Just an outstanding effort by the goaltenders tonight and by really everybody in terms of defensive play. That includes the forwards. We've seen a lot of good instances of players back checking, skating all the way back into their own zone to help out their defensemen. 13-7 were the listed shots in that second period in favor of Macon, so nearly identical to what we saw in the first period. The first period it was 14-7. So the Mayhem again with the edge and chances, and Brody Clays having his best game of the season so far. Last night he stopped 16 of the 17 shots the Mayhem sent his way, and he came in unexpectedly to relieve Blake Woitala, who sounds like having some cramping issues from what I heard. And Clays came in and virtually slammed the door shut for the remainder of the game. The only goal he allowed was a wraparound goal that was scored by David Pulowski. And since then, he has been perfect. Stiliadis, on the other hand, well, this is his first home game with the Mayhem. You'd never really guess it with the way he's played tonight. He stopped all 14 shots the Marksmen have sent his way, some of which have come on very good scoring opportunities from prolific goal scorers like Brian Bowen and Max Cook. So we're going to head to our second intermission, folks. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast thus far tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Alex Von Coyle, the voice of your Mayhem. Happy to have you with us wherever you might be tuned into this one. It's been an exciting one, despite what the score may suggest. For those of you who weren't able to tune in to our Monday morning radio segment on 100.9 The Creek, we're going to play that back for you. Dylan Denemy starred as the player guest and did an outstanding job. So we're going to play back that interview with Dylan Denemy on the Mayhem's official radio promotional partners station, 100.9 The Creek. Real music, real radio, every Monday morning at roughly 8:30 a.m. I'll be on The Creek with a player guest from the previous weekend, particularly somebody who's played well of late. Mr. Dylan Denemy had a very impressive weekend down in Pensacola, Florida, so he was the decision to come with us on the radio show. So we're going to play that back for you momentarily here, folks. Again, no score at the Macon Centreplex through the first 40 minutes of play. We'll be back in about 13 minutes or so after this break from our official radio promotional partners, 100.9 The Creek.
Time on the show. Welcome. That is Jimmy Duck Holmes.
It is.
And all night long. It is Monday, coming off of a couple of big games for the Macon Mayhem over the weekend, which means...
I was Von Coyle, the voice. I was Von Coyle, the voice. I was Von Coyle, the voice. Voice.
Alex Von Coyle! Yeah, that look on your face.
First time he heard that.
Dylan is the proper response. Just like,
yeah, wow.
Okay.
That's
Same
what you
response
say.
across the board from everybody, pretty much.
That's where we are today, Dylan.
Did you know that was nominated for a Grammy, Dylan? He didn't win.
I lost to Billie Eilish.
Yeah. As did everyone else.
As did everyone else.
We're going to need that in the room. 3 games.
You're embarrassed for him, aren't you? I can really feel that. Alex Von Coyle, how are you, buddy?
I'm good.
What's up, boss?
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too. It was a great weekend for us.
It was. Let's break down these games. I predicted this morning, without having heard from you, that it was either going to be Dylan or Caleb on the show because both of those guys had big games over the weekend. Tell us about Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Caleb's been on the show before, so I thought I'd give Dylan a shot here, and it's his day off, so just a shout out for him coming.
Thank you, Dylan. Thank you.
Earned your first bell ding there, buddy.
Yep. But it was a great weekend. We were going into that building, a very tough building to play in. They had struggled lately, but I don't think that really mattered. They're such a tough team to play against, especially down there, and we came away with 4 points, which is outstanding. It's obviously the best result we could hope for. They obviously got a couple of points by taking us to overtime, but that's not really a team that we're concerned about getting points in the standings. So overall, just a huge win for us. It was our first road sweep of the season so far, and we're just hoping to keep that momentum going.
I woke up to the recap email Saturday morning, and I was reading it, and I told Ashley, I said, wow, 3 things we've struggled with this year. Number 1, overtime.
Yeah.
And finally walked away with that overtime win. Number 2, road games. Swept Friday and Saturday. And number 3, Pensacola.
Right.
3 things that we've struggled with this year.
Check.
Exactly.
We were
great weekend.
I think we were 1-5 in overtime going down there before the weekend. Now we're 3-5, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Getting those overtime monkeys off our back.
Yeah, get off.
And you said it, against Pensacola, especially down there. We hadn't won a game down there in over 2 years.
Tough room, as they say. And then Saturday night 4-3 was the final.
Yep, that's right. Just a great overall effort. Both overtime goals had a huge part to do with Dylan, and with Cam. They really seem to be clicking together. You guys played on the same line together, isn't that right?
Yeah, my first year here, we played on the same line, and we're good buddies too. We met in a prospects game back when we were both 17, and we've been buddies ever since.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah,
That's very cool. Let's talk about the upcoming games this weekend, Alex. Friday night, it is Making Mistakes night as we take on. Yeah, I don't know what the games are going to be yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Neither do we, and that's kind of the point.
7:30 is puck drop against Fayetteville. What do you see for the game Friday night?
Well, Fayetteville, I think, is one of the top teams, if not the top team in our league right now. We've struggled against them. We haven't been able to beat them yet. Obviously we've played them a lot better at home than we have there. So it'll be interesting because we've got a taste of them the night before. We're actually going there on Thursday, and then coming back here Friday. So, whether or not we win or lose that game, there's just going to be more bad blood on Friday night that I think the fans will appreciate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That always makes for an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
On the second night.
Yep, and that's I think Thursdays is like a 10 a.m. start or something.
Yeah,
it's going to be rough.
The school game
Yep.
they have every year.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I haven't had the pleasure of playing one of those yet.
No great pleasure.
I'm sorry, you said AM?
Oh, yeah.
What?
10 a.m.
Wow. But is this where they bring in like school groups and things like that to watch the
Yeah,
game?
it'll be like all the schools in the local area.
It's actually pretty cool. Last week we went up to the Atlanta Gladiators and watched them do the same thing. They had their Tuesday morning school day game, and they had a bunch of kids from like 25, 30 schools from throughout the Atlanta
Wow,
area.
that's a lot of cheering.
It's like field trips, basically. So it was pretty cool.
I would have loved to have gotten out of school to go to a hockey game.
I could never do that.
Right?
We were always going to some kind of plant or something like that.
Yeah.
Like a slaughterhouse. I legitimately.
Yeah, no, I've done that. Been there.
Dylan, that look on your face. No, dude, I swear to you. I swear to you, for a school field trip, we went to a slaughterhouse.
Yeah, makes my sense.
It was a different time. It was a different time. I'm older than you, man. It was a different time.
Only in America.
Only in America.
You're so right, though, Dylan. You're so right.
I'll take that. That's fair.
I just went to a mill or something.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of history here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Saturday night, Pucks and Paws night.
Yes,
That's
sir.
a big one. Bring your dogs.
Yep,
Don't bring your dogs if they're not nice dogs.
No.
Can I throw that out there?
you can. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not bringing my dog.
but all dogs welcome, but no nice dogs. But all dogs are welcome.
Yeah, bring good dogs.
Yeah, bring good
dogs. How many dogs do we have entered for the Wiener Dog race on Saturday night?
We're
Do you know?
we're north of 15 now.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wiener.
Last year
Wow.
I think last year we had 2 heats. I want to say.
I think I said 3.
Year before that we had 3 heats.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think it's close to 10 dogs per heat, and then it's going to be the same thing. The top 3 dogs from each heat make it to the final round.
All right. And again, to address the controversy from last year.
Yes, let's do this.
Alex, your dog, the reigning Wiener Dog race champion, is not competing this year, correct?
No, that's
Okay.
incorrect. That's incorrect.
It
So
feels
so
like it was
she's-
nepetism.
So she is competing.
She is competing.
She is?
As returning
Yes.
champion.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
This is so rigged.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. How is this?
You know, we haven't seen any riots outside of the Coliseum yet.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, that's fair.
Yes.
That is fair. But the Wiener Dog race is Saturday night. We'll be doing that. That'll be a lot of fun. I want to talk to you, Dylan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great.
First time on the show.
Welcome.
Welcome. Congrats over the weekend on those 2 big wins.
Yeah, it was huge.
Tell me about you. Where are you from?
I'm from Windsor, Ontario.
So what's it like to have health care?
It's pretty good.
That's all right. It's got its moments.
It's pretty good.
It's got
I'm
its
not gonna lie.
moments.
Yeah.
When did you start playing hockey?
I started playing when I was 4 years old.
Okay. 3-4.
That's a pretty common theme
Yeah.
for the Canadian members of the team. That 3 and 4 year old mark.
For sure.
Where'd you play? Tell me about your hockey career.
Okay, so grew up in Windsor, played my minor hockey there, played junior right outside of Windsor, so I stayed at home. It was great too.
Okay.
Did 4.5 years there. Then I played actually college in Windsor as well.
Okay.
And then from there came to the Mayhem, my first pro year.
This was 2017. 17. All right.
Coach Kerr's the head coach, right after they won the championship.
Right.
And then last year I actually played in Ligue Magnus in France, the top league in France. So
Okay.
that was an experience.
We.
And then
Now wait, did you already speak French?
no,
Okay,
a
all right.
little bit. I can understand it a little bit.
All right.
But yeah. And
That had
then,
to be interesting.
Yeah, it was. It was a great experience. I went with one of my best friends. We played junior in college together, and then we both signed in the same team. Lived together. It was pretty cool.
Did you put on that France 15 from the Wine and Cheese?
No, actually lost.
Look at you.
yeah.
That's what I've heard. You can actually do that and lose weight there.
Yeah, it's like wine's cheaper than water there.
Yeah.
Me and him go grocery shopping. We're looking around. We're like, ooh, tough choice.
Yeah, let's get the wine.
water.
See, yeah, I'm with you, Ashley. Wine cheaper than water?
Yeah.
You made the right call, sir. I'm just going to say that. You made the right call.
Anyway.
Abby's wanting to
And
move.
then,
She's wanting to move. So is Abby. My girlfriend's listening. She's gonna want to move to France too.
And then I didn't know if I was going to play this year. A lot of people know my dad was going through the whole cancer thing my first year here, and he actually just got over it. So
Right now.
All right.
So I was like, you know what? I want to play. Like I need to get back playing. So I hadn't played in like 6 months, and then I'd been talking to Cam and like Herbs and Rogues, because I still talk to those guys, and Mike's gave me a call, and then I decided to come back. So
It seems like, Alex, you and I were talking about this off air. Obviously the team's had some struggles this year with a lot of personnel changes, coaching changes, that type of thing. It really feels like the team's gelling. Can you confirm that?
yeah, I can. It's honestly from where we were when I first got here, the first week or so, to now, it's a lot different. Like a lot different with all the personnel changes we've had. And I feel like we just have guys that want to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we need guys that want to go to work every day. Like we can't have people that we're just dragging along for the ride.
True.
Chance to build something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, I noticed outside parked on Cherry Street, is that your car with the bike rack on the back?
No.
Okay, all right, good.
No.
I was going to tell you, if you're biking in Macon, Georgia, don't do that.
That is rough.
No.
You will get killed. People here drive
Okay,
crazy.
Tony, ask Dylan your hockey
All right.
hockey movie question.
All right, hockey movie question.
Okay.
Best hockey movie of all time. You only have 3 choices: Slapshot, Miracle, or Goon.
Oh. Wow. Slapshot's good. It's funny. Goon also good, funny, newer, but
he's gonna
gotta
go with the-
gotta go.
Everybody goes with Miracle.
Gotta go with Miracle.
So that's
To be honest, those wouldn't even be my 3.
Oh.
Top.
Oh my, Dylan.
Well, let's step outside what we normally do here, Dylan. Educate me.
So you gotta go classic Mighty Ducks.
Thank you.
Mighty Ducks.
Thank you.
And then you're also missing Mystery Alaska.
Mystery Alaska, yeah.
I'm so glad you said Mighty Ducks, because I've been campaigning for the Mighty Ducks for the longest time. And Tony says, no,
Now
that's
look,
not.
While Mystery Alaska was a fine film,
Yeah.
it was Russell Crowe. So we're not doing that. Makes it ineligible. Makes it ineligible. But thank you for participating.
Is that a
Dylan.
little personal?
We
got a little personal issue.
Nobody has ever, first of all, picked Goon,
Which
which
upsets
is
him.
the correct
I
answer.
do like Goon. I really like Goon.
Not enough.
Yeah, that's what I said. I told
It's
him
not enough, man.
it's because we don't have any
Fair,
goons.
fair.
We don't have any goons on the team.
Well, and there's, I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's true. We don't. There's actually, I don't know if anybody's ever seen this. It's called Ice Guardians.
No, I've never seen it.
I would suggest giving this a watch. It's a documentary.
Oh, okay.
It is actually about all the NHL fighters and just how hockey still needs fighting in the game. And I'm telling you, it's probably the best. Gives me chills when I watch it.
All right.
Ice Guardians is what it's
Write
called.
that down.
They interview all the best fighters before and now. It was a big thing in Windsor too, because Bob Probert's from Windsor, but probably the best fighter of all time in the NHL. And he passed away. And they had a big thing about him on there, like Ty Domi.
Yeah.
Just like all the ex-tough guys. It's great.
Oh, nice. All right. I will take that suggestion, despite the fact that you did not pick Goon. I will take your suggestion. Dylan, thanks for being here this morning,
man.
man.
No problem.
Yeah, and as always, parting gifts, you get a T-shirt.
Yeah, you get a
Sweet.
T-shirt. We'll
So
give you a
there's
little
that.
coffee, things of that nature.
Since you came in on your day off. Alex, line change tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. It'll be a different one, I think.
Yeah, explain this. You said you were doing something different tomorrow night?
So this past week, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday last week, we reached our 1-year anniversary of the show.
Okay.
February 12th. I don't know why I remember that date, but I did. So
I didn't get a card.
Just as a sorry.
Saying something.
Just as a kind of thank you to our fans, I think we're going to do Something a little different. I haven't really decided what yet, but I know that we're going to have our guests decided by the fans. We're going to put up a poll on Twitter
Okay.
and
Oh, that's cool.
let
Who
them
they
decide
want.
who they want to
All
have
right.
on. So
We'll be watching for that.
Yeah.
Alex Von Coydel, Dylan Denemy, thank you guys.
He makes us play it twice for
Two
him.
times.
Twice.
It's no less awkward the second
It is.
time.
I mean, it's still there.
I'll get you a copy for this for the locker room.
Yeah, I gotta get it.
Here's music from the Band of Heathens on the Creek.
All right, well, welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed that Creekside segment with Tony Doolin, Charles Davis, and our player guest, Dylan Denemy, from this past Monday morning. 100.9 The Creek on your dial, the Mayhem official radio promotional partner. We are two-thirds of the way through. We are two-thirds of the way through this game, and there still has not been a score, which is remarkable when you consider the number of shots on goal. There have been 41 shots, and not one of them has found twine. Michael Stiliadis has stopped all 14 shots he's faced, and on the other side, Brody Clay is an even more impressive 27 of 27 in goal for the Fayetteville Marksmen. He has been outstanding, but I'm sure both coaches right now are probably saying similar things or have said similar things to their respective teams during the intermission, but I think each side, it's fair to say, could certainly do a better job of getting second and third chances. Right now, the reason that both goaltenders have been perfect, or one of the reasons, is that they have made the saves and not conceded rebounds. So perhaps putting some lower shots on net, shots that would be tougher for a goaltender to secure and prevent a rebound opportunity, is going to be the key. Folks, we are having an issue with our Zamboni at the moment. It looks like it might have broken down in front of the Macon bench. It has been stationary there for the past 5 minutes or so. And right now, there are 10 minutes showing on the clock, so it looks as though we'll experience at least a brief delay here, unfortunately. But there are multiple members of the Macon Centreplex rink crew that are out there looking at the issue right now, including some off-ice officials, and director of game ops and the general manager for the Mayhem and the head off-ice official right now, all converging near the Mayhem tunnel. While we've got a second, let's take a look around the SPHL for an out-of-town scoreboard update, brought to you by Hampton Inn and Suites. 8 of the 10 teams in the SPHL are off tonight. I beg your pardon. 8 of the SPHL teams are on tonight. 2 teams are off. The Quad City Storm are not playing, and neither are the Birmingham Bulls. They've got tonight off, and fortunately for them, they're coming to Macon tomorrow night, and they will have some fresh legs playing against the Mayhem. That is the 3rd time this season in which that's happened. I'm not sure that's just the way it's worked out, but every time Birmingham has come to this building, they've had the previous night off. The Roanoke really just taking it to the Peoria Rivermen right now. They lead 5-0. That one looks like it's all but over. The Huntsville Havoc and Pensacola Ice Flyers game having just gotten underway. Early in period 2, no score in that tilt. Same story in Evansville, Indiana. Thunderbolts hosting the Knoxville Ice Bears early in the second. No score in that game either. That wraps up your out-of-town scoreboard update, brought to you by Hampton Inn and Suites. Unfortunately, I don't really have an update as far as the Zamboni goes, so we're going to step aside here again until we hear something. It looks like right now there's a member of the rink staff who's taking a canister out to the Zamboni to replace it. Maybe it ran out. But they're working to get this issue resolved, folks. In the meantime, we're going to play back a segment of our last episode of Line Change with Mayhem head coach Ryan Michael, the Macon Mayhem Coaches Show, which airs every Tuesday night from 6 to 6:30 p.m. at the Rookery in downtown Macon. Please enjoy this excerpt from our last episode featuring Caleb Cameron and Dylan Denemy until we come back with more information regarding the Zamboni. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get started now. As always, thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate you taking time out of your Tuesday night to enjoy episode 14 of Season 2 of Line Change with Mayhem head coach Ryan Michael. Per your requests, our player guests tonight are Caleb Cameron and Dylan Denemy. They both had an outstanding weekend down in Pensacola. Let's hear it for these two gentlemen. Guys, we'll get to you in just a second. First, I want to ask Coach a couple of questions. First thing I wanted to ask you, Coach, is because it was such a huge weekend, the team took all 4 points that were available against a very difficult team, and that's not a building that you'd expect to be able to take all 4 points in, and yet you guys pulled it off. What were some of the things that went right for the Mayhem this weekend from your perspective?
I think we just battled. It was a tough week in the sense that not having ice and you kind of don't really get to sharpen up on some things you want to or work on things you need to. Friday game for us and kind of being able to simplify our game. Up and I was trying to write up a 6 sometimes there's just those weekends where things go your way and you kind of earn it.
It was, certainly. And it's not just this past weekend that has gone right for the Mayhem. Really, the month of February has been a very good month so far. The team's taken 9 points out of a possible 12. Things seem to be taking a positive turn here. And Dylan was asked this yesterday on the Monday Morning Creek Show by Tony Doolin about whether the team's chemistry was really starting to reach new heights. He said he feels that way for sure, and that there's just everybody on the team now just wants to be here and is going to work every day, and he feels that the chemistry is reaching new heights. Do you think that's the case here?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's have those stretches of games where things go right and things go well, and now I think we're in that stretch, but
So, Caleb, first off, congratulations on being named the SPHL's Warrior Hockey Player of the Week.
Thank you.
Second time this season that a Mayhem player has earned that honor, and what a weekend you had. 2 back-to-back overtime game-winning goals and a hat trick on Saturday night. Were there any hats whatsoever thrown onto the ice after your third goal on overtime on Saturday?
Yeah, there was actually a Macon Tracks hat that was on the ice that one of the boys threw at me in the locker room after the game.
Okay.
I don't know if it was one of our fans that was there. Couldn't tell you, but there was one hat, so it was nice to be able to see a little bit of support.
Shane, you were down there. Was that you? Well, hang on to that hat for dear life, because I don't know that they make too many of those anymore. But Dylan, the next question I have is for you. You also had a great weekend. You and Cam seem to be a well-oiled machine, particularly in overtime. And the team had not played well in Pensacola recently. The team had lost 7 straight, but you told me before going on the show on Monday morning on the Creek that you actually have always liked playing down there at the hangar. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
I don't know. I just think they always have a lot of fans, right? It's always fun to play in front of a big crowd. Ice conditions are always pretty great there. No, it's kind of cool. You go down to Florida, you get to play a couple of games. Like, I don't see what's really wrong with why everybody doesn't like going down there. But as far as like me. It's my first time playing them this year, and we had success there my first year. What's gone on between the stretch since then, but
Yeah, you did, and that was the last time before this past weekend that the Mayhem were able to come away with a win down there for whatever reason. It's just been a bit of a curse, but it's a good thing that curse has now been lifted, in large part thanks to you two guys. And the last question I have for you two, you're both free to answer. You both linked up for the overtime game winners. The team had not particularly done well in overtime this season either, just 1-5 before the weekend started. Now we're 3-5 in overtime. On both situations. Dylan, you fed Cam the game-winning goal in the 3-on-3. Do you feel that there might be some chemistry forming between you guys that might help the team going forward in the sudden death?
Well, yeah, I mean, we were just waiting for Mike's to finally put us together, so. But, I think we played together our first year, and I think that chemistry's always been there. Dill mentioned it on the radio show that we actually played in on an all-star game. We were on a line together back when we were 17. So, just I think being comfortable with each other, since we were kids, obviously kind of correlates into playing together now and being able to play together our first year, and then obviously getting our chances together this past weekend and in the previous weekends every now and then. That obviously shows a lot that we trust each other, we know where each other are on the ice, and obviously it paid dividends.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. He's easy to play with a smart player, you could say. And it's just I feel like that goes both ways.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
But no, it's it was nice getting a chance to get a lot of shifts actually together this weekend, and it seemed that the chemistry was still there from year one, so it was nice to get the 2 wins.
We're going to see that at even strength at all going forward, do you think, Coach? Or is that just a 3-on-3 situation?
I feel like I have to.
All right, you guys, I actually have one last question for all three of you. In the spirit of Pucks and Paws Night, because we are having that this Saturday, all three of you own a dog, which you adopted in Macon. We want to know the story, and we want to know it now. All three.
Kenzie and I got our dog Lulu from All About Animals. I'm going to butcher this story, but I'll try. Her and her brothers and sisters were found wandering down in Hawkinsville. Is that right? Is that a place? Okay. So, yeah, she was there for a bit, and Kenzie went. She wasn't in town. I had the chance to go down there and meet her, and after 5 minutes in, I kind of knew shy and timid at first, especially with men.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously most of you guys have heard tons of stories about Stan, but last year, right after Hurricane Michael, we had obviously known Heather through Dill. We had met her, our first year here, and after Hurricane Michael, there were a bunch of dogs that had been stranded, so she had messaged us saying, hey, any chance you can come take a dog for a night or two or for a week, whatever. Obviously, that was her saying, can you come adopt a dog? Because, I saw Stan first thing at the rescue. He was just obviously a puppy that needed some help. 2 hunters found him over near Perry and Warner Robins, in between there, out at a hunt cabin. So he was pretty far back in the middle of nowhere. And, it took me 2 days to say the hell with it. I'm adopting this dog, and, it's been the best thing that obviously I ever could have done. Like I said in the post, a rescue dog is probably more appreciative than anything else in the world. They really, truly know that you care for them, wholeheartedly. So,
I actually adopted a dog first before I adopted Tito. I adopted Cooper. Actually, he's Seymour's dog now. I couldn't bring him across the border because pit bulls are banned in Ontario. So Seymour ended up taking him in. And then I was still looking for a dog, and Heather messaged me, and she's like, yeah, I got this little,
Rat.
Yeah, pretty much rat. And I was like, perfect. And I sent a picture to my mom. My mom was like, oh my God, yeah, love him. So I named him Tito after my dad's favorite vodka. He appreciated that. But yeah, he's my mom and my sister and my dad. Tito probably loves them more than he loves me now. Actually, he's living with them right now, and the family wouldn't change it for anything. So it was a great experience getting to adopt him.
So are all three of them going to be at Pucks and Paws night on Saturday?
No.
None of the
Stan
above?
does not do well with large crowds.
Tito's a Canadian dog now, so.
Yeah. Lulu came last year, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, obviously I wasn't dealing with that, but yeah, she's not going. She's afraid of the loud noises and the thing.
Last year, right? Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's all the questions that I have. The floor is now yours. As always, the only thing we ask is that you please ask your questions into this crowd mic here so that we can get it all saved for our archived version later on. Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed that 11-minute or so excerpt from our last episode of Line Change with Mayhem head coach Ryan Michael. Again, it airs every Tuesday night from 6 to 6:30 p.m. at the Rookery in downtown Macon at 543 Cherry Street. So come on by if you have the opportunity. We'd love to have you out there, ask some questions, get to learn about the players a little bit better, get to know their personalities more off the ice, and enjoy some local handcrafted Macon food in the process. Next week, of course, we will not have a Line Change show because next Tuesday is the date of our rescheduled home game against Pensacola, February the 25th against the Ice Flyers on Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Back to this game, however, it looks as though we're on the up and up to getting this issue resolved. There was if you're just now joining us, there was an issue with the Zamboni. It sort of broke down in front of the Mayhem bench. And Charles Olson, our PA announcer, is giving the announcement now.
At this time, regulation in tonight's game has concluded. However, both teams will proceed immediately to a 5-on-5 shootout. The winner of the shootout taking home both points in tonight's game. Again, ladies and gentlemen, due to the condition of the ice,
so perhaps I spoke too soon. It sounds like this game will end early. It will be a similar situation to what happened in Fayetteville earlier this season, about a month ago or so, in which the game went to a shootout early. That's what's going to happen here. It'll be a 5-on-5 shootout due to the ice conditions after the Zamboni did its rounds. So it'll be another premature ending to a game. However, this one will not be rescheduled. It will end tonight, and that will be the last time the Mayhem face the Marksmen. It's an unfortunate way, really, for this game to end. If you're a Mayhem fan, it's been a very strong game from their point of view. They've outshot the Marksmen 27-14 and have not found a way to solve Brody Clays. The Marksmen have had some good chances, don't get me wrong, but the Mayhem have been the better team tonight and will not have an opportunity to continue playing at even strength. We're going to go to a 5-round shootout in which the victor will take both points, and whoever is beaten will be left with 1 point. So either way, the Mayhem and the Marksmen will at least get a point from this game. But I can tell you firsthand from being here, it is not sitting well with many of the folks in attendance here at the Macon Centreplex. And again, we hope that, the last time this happened, we had a game the following night, and the night after that, we were able to proceed as planned. Shout out to the rink crew for getting the issue fixed in a timely fashion so that we could play the following Friday night. And hopefully the same can be said for tomorrow night, because the Mayhem are hosting the Birmingham Bulls tomorrow evening. Puck drops at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So we haven't seen any players come back onto the ice yet. Really, where I see the main issue is right where the Zamboni broke down. in front of the Macon bench, but it looks like there's some skid marks from the tires and a few spots scattered along the ice. And so, more for player safety than for anything, this game will just be decided by a shootout. Mayhem will select 5 shooters. The Marksmen will do the same. If there is no advantage for either team after 5 rounds, it will go to a sudden death round of 6 in which players can be recycled as often as they desire. That will be up to the head coaches, Ryan Michael and Jesse Kalecki, as to who they want to send out there. But this season, the Mayhem in the shootout with a record of 1-1. Fayetteville in the shootout a record of 1-2. The last time the Mayhem went to a shootout was back on Friday, December the 20th against the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs. They won that shootout. They lost the previous one to Roanoke on Friday, October 25th. The only player on their team to have scored a goal in the shootout this season is not available. It was Danny Caesar, who was 1 for 3 on the campaign. Nobody else on Macon's active roster has attempted more than once. And the post-game skate has also been canceled, obviously due to the ice conditions. The good news for the fans is the post-game skate with the players is scheduled for tomorrow night. Tonight was just a post-game skate without the players. So Stiliadis and Brody Clays have both had outstanding games tonight. And for one of them, they will be charged with a loss despite not giving up a single goal. Clays stopping all 27 of Macon's shots through the first 2 periods of this game. Stiliadis stopping all 14 of Fayetteville's. Most of Macon's roster right now sort of scattered around the epicenter of the problem. There's really any silver lining you can take from this if you're a Mayhem fan, it's that the Mayhem, or if you're a Marksman fan, both teams are playing tomorrow. And so I suppose one fewer period played, plus potentially overtime, could save both of these teams some of the energy that they might have otherwise expended. The Marksmen tomorrow night will be in Knoxville taking on the Ice Bears, and the Mayhem will be hosting the Birmingham Bulls right here less than 22 hours from now. So the game will proceed to a shootout straight from the end of the second period. And it looks as though Caleb Cameron will be the first selection. Unfortunate for him, he did not get a full chance to extend his point streak, which had reached 7 games. Had he scored a point tonight, he would have tied Jake Trask for the all-time record in consecutive games played with a point. He is the reigning SPHL Player of the Week, and he is red hot. He will have the opportunity to start this shootout off on the right foot for the Mayhem. Caleb Cameron against Brody Clays. Ryan Michael was given the choice as the home coach, and he has decided to shoot first, and he's going with the hottest player in the SPHL at the moment. Tough to fault his logic. Caleb Cameron from center ice. Picks up the puck, goes right down the middle. Cameron lost the puck. And It looks like the puck just sort of got stuck in the slot. It didn't carry with him. The ice most likely isn't in prime form at the moment. Travis Jake, first for Fayetteville, scores. Went low glove side on Michael Stiliadis and has given the visitors the advantage. So, top of the second round, Dylan Denemy has a chance to tie it back up. Denemy down the left side. From the circle, fires, scores. Dylan Denemy beats Brody Clays over the shoulder. And if Stiliadis can make a stop here, both teams will be back on level ground. But he's got to stop the best goal scorer in the SPHL, Brian Bowen, with 26 to his name this season. Left circle, fires off the inside of the crossbar, and it bounced out. Bowen trying to argue that it was in the back of the net. I don't think so. 1-1 through 2 rounds, and Stephen Pirog, the Mayhem captain, will get his chance. Pirog deliberately across the blue line, down the slot, fires and scores! Beats Brody Clays over the glove, and the Mayhem have their first advantage of the shootout so far. Fayetteville has a chance to respond and to retie the shootout. John Gustafson, the former Mayhem sniper, right side. Gustafson to his forehand, missed the left post. Round 3 is in the books. The Mayhem have a 2-1 lead in the shootout, and Oscar Arfelt, who ironically enough, the last time a situation like this happened, was the shootout hero in Fayetteville due to a Zamboni issue, and he's now got a chance to do the same thing against his former team. Arfelt from the right circle, fires, swallowed up by Brody Clays. A nice butterfly save by the Fayetteville netminder, and now the Marksmen have a chance to tie things back up. This will be Shane Bednard, who scored a pretty impressive goal last night to tie the game in the third period. Bednard with speed down the left side, fires, stopped by Stiliadis. And Colton Wolter will have a chance to end it. Fairbanks, Alaska native, who scored a hat trick in this building a few weeks ago on Pack the Plex night, has a chance to be the shootout hero tonight. Wolter down his off wing, slowly down the slot, fires, and a glove save is made by Brody Clays. And that has given the Marksmen a chance to extend this game. If Stiliadis makes this save, the Mayhem will win. Max Cook getting the chance to prolong this game further. Cook, the Fayetteville captain, down the slot, holds and shoots. Stiliadis the save. And for the first time this season, the Mayhem have defeated the Fayetteville Marksmen. 1-0 the final score. Players on either side really unsure as to whether the game was actually over, but it is in fact. That was 5 rounds. The Mayhem with a 2-1 advantage in the shootout come away with the strangest victory I've seen in 5 years of broadcasting. 1-0 the final score in favor of the Mayhem, who by unorthodox means have gotten their first win against the Fayetteville Marksmen this season. And in front of the crowd, who up until a few seconds ago weren't even sure if this game was over yet, the Mayhem celebrate and salute them for their support tonight. So Stiliadis, I'm not sure if this will count as a shutout for him. I don't believe so because it's not a complete game. But nevertheless, what an impressive night for him. And Brody Clays as well. You really can't help but feel for Brody Clays. I imagine out of anybody from this situation, he's probably the most upset at how this played out. He was, I can say it now, the game's over, but he had a 27-save shutout going into the third period, and because of the ice issues, the game ended early. It went from the second intermission straight to a shootout, and if I'm not mistaken, I just heard John Reagan say over the PA speakers that tomorrow night's game has been canceled. I'm going to go verify that, folks, because I'm not sure. I want to be completely sure before I confirm that. So I'm going to go speak with him. Bear with me just for a moment, folks. I'll be back in just a moment. I'm going to double check that that is in fact the case.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for tonight's 3 stars of the game. Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Tonight's 3rd star.
Okay, welcome back, folks. Well, that was a false alarm. The post-game skate for tonight is canceled, which we already knew. He was just reminding everybody. So I thought for whatever reason that he'd said tomorrow's game is canceled. That is not the case. We expect to be able to play tomorrow night. But unfortunately, the post-game skate for tonight has been canceled. The 3 stars of the game being announced right now by Charles Olson. Dylan Denemy earned the 3rd star, Stephen Pirog the 1st, or I beg your pardon, the 2nd, and a very well-deserved star of the game for Michael Stiliadis, who will give him a shutout in spirit, if not on paper. He stopped all 14 shots the Marksmen fired at him and stopped 4 of 5 in the shootout. A very impressive performance by the Mayhem goaltender. His first game on home ice this season, I'll add, and he looked more than comfortable in net. So good things on the horizon, I would say, for Michael Stiliadis. As for Brody Clays, he will be charged with probably the strangest loss of his career. It's going to count as a shootout loss, despite not giving up a single goal. During regulation time, at least, he stopped 3 of 5 in the shootout, which isn't too bad, but it's unfortunate for Clays that he didn't get a better result after playing an outstanding game in net for the Marksmen. So 1-0 is the final score in favor of the Mayhem. They have finally snapped the 7-game skid that they were on against the Fayetteville Marksmen and have earned their 14th win of the season, so they will only be 1 point behind Roanoke at the end of tonight. Last we checked, they were up 5-0 over the Peoria Rivermen, and the final score 5-1. So the Rail Yard Dogs earned 2 points tonight, which is bad news for Ryan Michael and the Mayhem, who are trying to catch that team for a playoff spot. Roanoke moving up to 8th place in the SPHL, passing Birmingham, who was idle tonight, and the Mayhem tying Birmingham for the 9th spot, but the Bulls with 3 games in hand over the Mayhem. So tomorrow's game against Birmingham will be virtually a must-win for Ryan Michael and the Mayhem. Not only that, but I would think they're going to do their best to win that game in regulation so as to not allow the Bulls to get any points to further their cause for a playoff berth. We'll do one last look around the SPHL before we let you get going, folks. Huntsville, Pensacola tied at 1 goal apiece late in period 2 with 5:40 to go. And there is no score still in Evansville between the Thunderbolts and the Ice Bears. That wraps up your final out-of-town scoreboard update brought to you by Hampton Inn and Suites. We're so glad you decided to join us tonight, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network, despite the issues. It's fittingly on Making Mistakes night that we had a few problems here, but hopefully tomorrow night will go a little bit more smoothly. Regardless, the Mayhem came away with the 2 points. The Marksmen will get 1 as a shootout loss and will finally have been defeated by the Mayhem for the first time this season. The Mayhem will turn their attention to tomorrow night. Pucks and Paws night, 7 p.m. local time here at the Macon Centreplex. They host the idle Birmingham Bulls, who are off tonight, will be playing tomorrow here in Macon. If you've got a wiener dog and you'd like to register him or her for our wiener dog races, that is still available. Head to our website, maconmayhem.com, under the community tab. You can register your wiener dog today so that he or she can partake in our wiener dog races tomorrow night during the first intermission. It's always a blast. We're really looking forward to it. As a proud dog owner of a dachshund mix, I can't wait to see what Hazel does tomorrow as a defending wiener dog champion tomorrow during the first intermission. So if you've got a wiener dog, be sure to register them for our race. If you've just got a regular dog, they can't partake in the race, but they can come to the Macon Centreplex and enjoy the game. Just bring him or her right by the Macon Centreplex tomorrow. Again, puck drops at 7 p.m. And enjoy tomorrow's game against Birmingham with your furry friends. Till then, Thanks so much for joining us tonight, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Alex Von Coitel signing off until tomorrow night when the Mayhem host the Birmingham Bulls again at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Till then, so long, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night.